Hi, I am Harsha, your friend, your colleague, your co-traveler and your guide. Today I'll continue in my journey of teaching philosophy of morality. And I've reached the ninth factor today. And that ninth factor of morality is Svadhyay, or understanding the pure, true idea behind all spiritual texts. You see, in our daily practical practices of meditation, after we've finished meditation, or in our spare time, we should read, cultivate the practice of reading some kind of spiritual book, of which, as I'll explain, you should understand, read it with a meaning. It also means that you should try and keep good company in your spare time. When you are working, you have no choice, you have to work with all the people, but then you are engaged in work. But in spare time, when you are hanging out with your friends, you must be little careful. Most of the times, human beings, when they are in a group, they tend to be foolish. They tend to show off. They tend to do things which they are not really. It does not represent them. So, you have to be careful in this regard. Truth should always prevail. You should always be truthful and clear. Be confident in what you are. No complexes. So, you must keep good company. A bad company will always crudify you, if not lead you astray, lead you in all wrong direction, cause of your downfall. You might lead, if you are a young man, I know many youngsters, they call it peer pressure. They fall prey to drugs, to all sorts of wrong activities, because their group says so. They want to be part of that group because there is an inferiority complex. I remember when I was in a hostel in the school, I must have been about 16 years old. This is a time when you are very impressionable. My father was not so rich, but we were good in school, so I got admitted in a very famous and a very how should I call it, socially upgrade school. And there were a lot of rich children, children of rich businessmen who gave big donations. So my father told me, as a last piece of advice before leaving me alone, that remember, the child which is spending that money that money doesn't belong to him, it belongs to his father. So you are equal to anybody, you are not inferior to anyone. So you will not have imported chocolates with you, or you will not, those days these small things used to make a lot of difference. So I don't know, that word works with me till today. You are what you can create. That is real you. And when you show that to the people, they will respect you. Initially, they will laugh. Don't be hassled. This is just a show. Keep on going on your way. One of the great poets in Bengal says, if people do not follow you or come along with you in your high ideals, keep moving alone. Don't be deterred just because you feel you are alone. The very thought that you are getting inspiration from within, that means your soul is with you, your conscience is with you, and you will not fall down. So, Svadhyay means not only to understand the subject, spiritual texts, subjects by reading or hearing, but also to understand its significance. You need to understand what you are reading. Just because a book is called holy doesn't mean that you must accept it at the first glance. You must read it. Try to understand the content in its true meaning. Many things were created, most of these books were created in ancient texts, in ancient languages. And the time, place and person, everything was different then. You see 2 generations back, the way of thinking was different, the values were different, the way they spoke were different. Imagine 2000 years back, everything was totally different. Books were written in a certain way, in a certain meaning. Today, those very words have a different meaning. But the vested interests, people, these priests and these so-called, propounders of, or the keepers of these texts and all that, they want you to follow blindly. That is not correct. That is exploitation. For example, I will tell you the very thing that I am following today, which my guru taught me, is about Tantra. Now, Tantra, the literal meaning is darkness, freedom from darkness. Tam, darkness, tra, tran, freedom from darkness. And during that time, there was a term used as Mans Sadhana. Mans, form of meditation. So a person who followed the Mans Sadhana, which was part of Tantra, understood the meaning at that time. Today, one of the meanings of the word Mans is flesh, meat, non-vegetarian food, this meat, flesh. But the literal meaning at that time was, Ma stood for tongue, and Mansa means, it was, the true meaning was action of the tongue. And or vocal expression. When translated together, meant the meditation practitioner who swallows mansa or vocal expression every day. And the real meaning is, he who practices this form of mansa meditation practices control over speech habits every day. He practices the control over his speech every day. What a wonderful meaning. But those who got crudified and took it as flesh thought that they must practice by slaughtering sacrificial human beings. Even today they go to graveyards and these cremation grounds to consume raw flesh, human flesh. And that is why this whole Tantra got a bad name, very bad name. And it came to known as Avidya Tantra. Why? Because simply the words got lost. You need to understand before you do anything, or to make sure that what you are reading is correct. What you are watching is correct. Because all this goes into your mind. Today you see, there are in the Middle East, people are committed to suicide bombing. And they are told that you will go to heaven when you do it in the name of God. They don't understand the scriptures, they don't understand what they have read or what they are hearing. Just because a person of certain appearance stands up and says, oh, you will do this and I am the representative of God. Nonsense. Wrong philosophies has led to wars. That is why it is important to keep our minds very, very clear and understand everything clearly. The real form of meditation or spirituality is actually when you start questioning, asking, understanding. Please ask. Do not follow anything blindly. You must understand the meaning of each and every activity or what you are hearing or what you are reading. If something is in a coded language, please do not follow just because somebody says that it is good. I can say from personal experiences, there are a lot of mantras, verses and so on pulled out from certain texts, and people think that, oh, because it belongs to an ancient text, it must be beautiful. There is a very stupid way of saying. I asked one youngster, do you believe in Vedas? Because Vedas form our ancient text. He said, yes, I believe in Vedas, very proudly. You know what? Vedas means an assimilation of a certain period of history. And during that time, the philosophy changed many times over a period of 2000 years. One Veda is there. And there are many, many forms of philosophies. Sometimes they believed the God was powerful, sometimes they believed the nature was Prakriti, or the goddess was more powerful. All conflicting with one another. Sometimes they had multiple gods, sometimes they single God. And that poor boy says, I believe in Vedas. What do you mean by believe in Vedas? You believe in all these philosophies. That means there is nothing inside your head. But it is a thing to say, oh, I believe in Vedas. Understand what you are trying to say. So, there is another word, Surapanam. Surapanam means consumption of alcohol, liquor. But real meaning, literal meaning, consumption of nectar. And what is this nectar? All the time our bodies, which is full of glands, are releasing their hormones. When you do your meditation and rise, your higher level of hormones, they descend, are able to come down to your lower body. And you feel a sense of tingling and sensation. I am feeling it right now because I am speaking about it. Why? Because the hormone from your pineal gland is able to come down when your mind is in a subtle state, light state. The moment you think about the worldly things, it gets crudified, comes down to the lower levels, and the higher hormones get destroyed. You will never feel it. All the time these hormones are being developed. That's how your body is getting nourished. But you will experience this sense of intoxication in meditation. And that is the true meaning of Surapani. When you take drugs, you get it for a short period of time, that high, but then you come down, crashing down. You see, today, since yesterday, I am hearing this tragic news that the lead singer of the band Linkin Park has committed suicide. He was struggling with drug abuse, alcohol abuse. He had the world in his hands. He was doing what he loved to do. He was a singer. He was an artist. But he was a sensitive person. And he got into this wrong practice to get this high. He needed to feel high. And that was an artificial way of doing it. Had he done meditation, he would have been permanently high without any downfall, crudification. This is what is due to the wrong meaning, wrong company, to get into the wrong practices from the very beginning. It is the easy way out. Addiction. They think that this way many of the people say, oh, Shiva also used to talk about taking hash, something like that. All nonsense. The real intoxication came from meditation. All you have to do is raise your mind through your meditation to a higher level of chakra. And you see the kind of flow, that intoxication that comes from within you. You are the source of intoxication. And this intoxication actually levitates your mind to the highest level. Yeah? If you do not have any, you'll see, they say, is an ancient couplet, that you do not find rubies in sacks, big buckets. Rubies are real, rubies rare, they say. And you do not find the real swans in big large groups. He stays alone. Real big swan, royal swan. You don't find the male tigers living in herds. And you do not find a true hermit saint living in groups. You will be alone. I see it from my own life that as I purified my habits, I lost friends, so-called friends. If you drink, you will have a big group of friends. If you smoke, you will have another group of friends. If you sit and waste time and gossip, You will have a big group of so-called friends. As you stop these activities, you stop drinking, you'll see, oh, he's a boring guy, he doesn't drink. Leave him alone. Doesn't smoke. Oh, he doesn't want to gossip, he is a serious fellow. Leave him alone. You will gradually become alone. Do not be afraid of it. If you are solid from inside, you will find that you are at peace. Today I feel peaceful when I am alone. If somebody comes into my space and starts talking nonsense or crude things, I get irritated. I need to avoid that person. Remember, avoid anything which is not good. Somebody is not doing a good habit, avoid. Keep your mind clean. It's better to be alone than to be in a wrong company. But you must find a group at least once a week. In our system there is that everybody gets together and engages in spiritual talks, meditation. That joint vibration created with a set of people is huge. It helps you in your own meditation. So that is a desirable thing. But it's a sad thing that today such groups are disappearing. And wrong philosophies are taking over. Hatred from one another is taking over. Why? Because of wrong philosophies. So, in the end, I will say that, like I told you, these if you follow these wrong philosophies, you'll fall into wrong directions, and downfall will be the result. So you need to read the right books, but you do need to read. If you keep your mind blank, it won't stay blank for too long. Then this is what happens, drug addiction and all these things. Because there is a call from within for you to rise, for you to get something, to fill up that void inside you. You feel empty inside you. These people feel empty inside themselves when they are alone. They need to feel full. And alcohol, this kind of addiction is just right there to, fool you. No. If you do your meditation, you will get that and you will not need to go into that direction. And you need to give company, guidance to youngsters. And be cautious from those vested interests who want to keep the public away from the real spirit of scriptures, philosophies, for their exploitation purposes. And that is the purpose of this video on Svadhyay. Read good scriptures, books daily, keep good company, but remember, understand and do whatever you do. Meditation will levitate your mind to the highest level. Someday I'll tell you one example in my next video with the Ishwar Pranidhan, which is the final 10th factor and the most important factor in all of philosophies. You have that, you don't need anything else. I'll see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is again a step to help my brothers, sisters, youngsters. Please watch this. I'm producing with my series. You will find that although these subjects in various pieces might have been discussed in their own different ways by other people as well, but you will not find that a single site is giving you all information in a very methodical, systematic manner. Over a period of time, people will see my pattern. And I hope you'll like it, you'll subscribe it, and you'll give me your likes to give me encouragement to continue on this mission. I am very grateful to you for watching this. Thank you and have a nice day.